The film opens with the film's lead, Nora, hosting a pool party full of her friends and their children. One of the friends from the circle named Shannon is too picky with stuff and asks Nora to get a bowl for the dipping sauce. As Nora makes her way to the kitchen, she is stopped by Shannon's daughter, who demands a bandage even though she's barely hurt. In the meantime, Nora's own daughter, Hannah, jumps into the pool like a cannonball just for her father to praise her. All of a sudden, Nora hears everyone screaming and panicking by the pool. A bottle from her hands falls down and shatters when she sees everyone getting the unconscious Hannah out of the pool. Her husband, Michael, yells at his friends to call 911, while Nora performs CPR on Hannah. Sadly, Hannah dies. The scene is then changed to a small montage of Nora's last memories with her late daughter, Hannah. The two are seen spending time in nature together, riding bicycles and swimming. After the montage, Nora is seen with her husband Mikhail in her therapist friend Lily's clinic. Through their conversation, it is revealed that Nora has taken a bad divorce from Michael, but Michael is trying to make things end on a good note by being by her side. Things go south when Michael nonstop praises his new girlfriend Shelby and her activities. He also gets a slip of the tongue and mentions a party that Shannon is hosting. She feels betrayed when she finds out she's not even invited, so she leaves Michael in the waiting area and goes to see Lily. Lily has created a virtual room in which she creates simulations of her patients' triggers and makes them go through their triggers in order to eliminate them. Now, Lily and her assistant strap a screen to Nora's eyes and make her watch a bird nest being destroyed by a hawk. Nora doesn't cope well and has a mental breakdown, knowing that Michael has moved on and is doing better than her. When she talks of Shannon's party, Lily points out that she knows about the party since she's been invited to it. The party is at Shannon's late grandfather's house, which was left to her as heritage by her grandfather. Nora gets surprised and asks if it's the same lake house that Lily has created for her in the simulation. Lily says yes and tries to help Nora with the bird nest simulation, but Nora loses it and forces Lily to take her to the lake house in person as her guest since Nora's not personally invited. Lily doesn't approve of the idea and makes her assistant bring more antipsychotic drugs for Nora to calm her nerves. She claims that she can't expose Nora to her triggers in real life, nor is her new simulation of the lake house fully ready. Nora doesn't listen to a word and curses Bob while taking her medicine. The scene directly cuts to Shannon's isolated lake house, where she's scolding her husband, Tom, for not doing things her way. Soon their friend David shows up cursing his business associates on his phone. Shannon reminds him that they are having a tech-free weekend, so he must give up his phone. He apologizes and goes into the woods to take one last call since the signals are pretty weak. Subsequently, another friend of Shannon's arrives. She goes by the name Kate and is David's ex-wife. As Shannon and Tom welcome her and mock her for walking all the way to the lake, David shows up and gets disappointed to see Kate. As she feels the same way, she picks up an argument with him. Shannon doesn't welcome negativity, so she separates Kate from David and takes Kate inside. Now Shannon and Kate talk about their marital problems inside the kitchen. Their lamp flickers, so Shannon explains that the electrician bailed on them and they couldn't get the entire lake house's wiring fixed. Outside, Tom and David also talk about marital issues from their perspective and assemble wooden cutouts to make chairs. Later, the trio sits on the stairs near the dock and makes fun of Lily's work and her nature. Simultaneously, she spawns in front of them on a boat. She gets off the boat and explains that she took a ride from a random fisherman to get here. Soon, Michael and Shelby arrive in their car too and complain about how they had to park their car miles away as the lake house doesn't have any parking space. As they all sit around and chat more, they find Shelby the odd one out, as she constantly uses analogies from the Bible and quotes verses from it. Everyone is secretly grossed out when Shelby tells them she's brought fresh deer meat and they must put it in the freezer to prevent the blood on the meat from dripping. At night, Kate goes to put Shelby's bloody deer meat in the kitchen sink and discovers Nora freakishly standing behind her while soaking wet. She gets a jump scare and nervously calls Shannon. She then quickly covers Bora with a quilt and sits her down. She offers her bought clothes to Nora, but she claims she's not staying for the night and makes up an excuse of falling into the lake and mistakenly coming here. When Shannon comes in, she gets surprised to see Nora too and offers to stay for the weekend. When Michael steps in, he gets awkward seeing Nora too. Everyone goes outside and tries to find out how Nora has found out about the get-together. Lily casually sits down with them and reveals she told Nora about their lake house getaway. They all get mad at her for ruining their weekend, but Lily reminds them that Nora's life is worse than theirs, which is why she's giving Nora exposure therapy, in which she is going to get exposed to her triggers. Lily refers to her friends as Nora's triggers after they moved on with their lives and left her behind. Meanwhile, Nora gets to talk to Shelby on the dock. She bluntly asks her about her marital status and if she has kids, but in the end, Nora finds Shelby decent, unlike her selfish friends. On the other hand, Lily shows up to Michael, who's grilling deer meat, and starts flirting with him while reminding him of their old fling. Michael is awkward enough already due to Shelby and Nora colliding, so he walks away from Lily. Meanwhile, the rest of the friends sit with Shelby and tell her their crazy past stories. Shannon feels the number of mosquitoes around them increasing, so she asks her husband to get a mosquito lantern from the shed. David insists on grabbing the lamp for them. When he goes to the shed, he finds Nora there with an axe and a crazy smile plastered on. He gets freaked out, and the scene shifts. Later that night, Nora joins the friends at the table and starts talking to Shannon about her daughter, who was Hannah's age. Her unhealed trauma makes her point out everyone's lousiness at the pool party when Hannah drowned. She shames Shannon for creating panic and getting everyone's attention diverted toward her daughter, who barely got scratched in the knee. She then blames Katie for drinking at a children's pool party and not staying sharp at the party. Shannon arrogantly tells Nora that Hannah wasn't their responsibility, and she shouldn't blame them for her death. In the end, she apologizes to everyone and blames her medication for her behavior. Kate decides to grab a drink from the kitchen after the intense argument. Nora also joins her and starts to reminisce about old times spent together. While Kate is too ignorant, Nora slips something into her drink and makes a devious face when Kate drinks it. Now that things are back to normal, everyone plays charades in order to have some fun. Nora starts talking about her nonsensical and suicidal beliefs while talking, which freaks everyone out. Tom feels cold all of a sudden, so Shannon asks him to get some wood they bought in bulk and start the fire. The forgetful Tom realizes he forgot to buy the wood chunks on their way. Michael suggests chopping up wood from the woods around the lake house, but Shannon says they are not supposed to cut the landscape. When Michael insists on using his strength to chop up some wood, Shannon agrees. Nora stands up and offers to join Michael, but he insists that she be seated with the friends. When Nora expresses that she wants to go, Shelby tells Michael that it's fine to take her with him. When the two take a stroll, they go down a memory lane and talk about their last shared memories with Hannah. When they get deep into the woods, she makes Michael feel guilty for not saving Hannah from drowning while he was in the pool. Things get heated, and the scene shifts back to the lake house. While Kate and her ex-husband mingle, Lily does some yoga. Shelby feels left out, so she goes to the woods to check up on Michael. There she finds Nora with the axe, and blood splatters over her neck and dress. When she asks about Michael, Nora indirectly tells her that he's left, and so should she. Shelby figures out what she's done with Michael and reveals that she was pregnant with him. Nora sympathizes with Shelby and tells her to take her car and drive away. Back in the lake house, Nora's spiked drink starts showing signs in Kate. She vomits and starts bleeding from her nose. While everyone panics, Shannon yells at Tom to grab a hose to clean up the vomit. While Tom looks for the hose near the hot tub, Nora freakishly spawns from behind him. Shannon's kept emergency phone starts ringing around them. Nora points out that they weren't supposed to keep a phone, according to Shannon's policy. Tom justifies keeping an emergency phone. He finds the phone at the bottom of the hot tub, so he goes inside it to grab it. Once he's inside, Nora plugs in the switch, knowing the wiring is troubled. Poor Tom gets electrocuted and slowly dies, while Nora admits that he is the least problematic of all in their group. When Shannon doesn't hear from Tom, she gets mad and goes to check up on him herself. David and Kate also join her and become absolutely horrified to see Tom electrocuted to death. Shannon becomes delusional and thinks she can save her husband, so she takes a helping hand from David and Kate and drags him out. They put him in his car and try to drive him to the hospital, but the car tires are flattened out. It gets worse when they find Nora behind them with an axe. She starts swinging the axe across the car's screen. Everyone gets out of the car and runs back inside the lake house, where they find Lily. They yell at her all the things Nora has done so far, but she laughs it off as she's high on some sugar gummies. However, she manages to reassure everyone that they're in a simulation created by her and that no one is dying in real life. David doesn't understand Lily and runs to grab the emergency phone from the A-pot directed by Shannon, not knowing Nora has already taken care of it. Simultaneously, Michael bangs on the front door and requests that he be in. Upon opening the door, they find him bleeding from his shoulder and passing out from weakness. When they hear Nora's voice, the selfish friends push Michael out and lock the door again. While the girls panic, Lily stays calm because she is the host, and the host cannot be sabotaged or compromised in the simulation. She soon realizes that she's having troubles with the host mode, due to which she's not being able to control the simulation. Soon, Nora breaks into the house through the glass back door. While pointing the gun at the girls, she holds all of them accountable for Nora's death. Lily tries to calm her by reminding her of all the good memories, but Nora laps into a flashback from the pool party. This time she sees Michael flirting with Lily while Hannah is struggling in the pool. When she gets back to her senses, she starts describing to the girls how a person experiences death from drowning. As she aims to shoot at the girls, Tom shows up from behind and whacks her head with a hammer. As she blacks out, they tie her with a chair and try to find a way to get out. Lily tries to explain to Tom how that is not going to work, but he still attempts to run out of the lake house, claiming that Shelby got to escape, which proves that there is an escape route. No matter how many times Tom runs out of the lake house, he comes right back in. Lily apologizes to him for being too high and not coming up with the solution. Tom brainstorms and figures that Nora is player 1 of the game, and as long as they don't eliminate her, the game won't reset and they won't get out till then. Lily takes Tom back inside and finds Shannon gone. She forces Tom to guard her now dead wife while she goes out to talk to her technician over the phone. She tells him to come to her floor and find a way to reboot the game and have a look at what's wrong, but the simulation starts to glitch. Back inside, Shannon hides away in a closet, and Tom takes some toxic pills to get him high in the bathroom. There, Nora shows up and jabs a poison-containing syringe in his shoulder, which causes him to fall down into the bathtub. She then turns on the tap and leaves him to drown. As dawn breaks, Nora catches Shannon hiding in the cupboard. Shannon becomes scared to see her with a crossbow and tries to apologize to her for being ignorant while walking backwards. As the two step outside, Lily shows up and breaks the news that the technician is not coming to work for a few days and that they're stuck in the simulation. Nora finally shoots Shannon with the crossbow and ends her life in the game. Lily, still high by the gummies, touches Shannon's wound in order to see if the pain she's experiencing is real. Lily's life is threatened when Nora aims the crossbow at her next. Lily praises that she's her best friend, but Nora confronts that disabling the host made her look back into her real memories, in which she saw Lily flirting with her husband while Lily drowned. She accuses her of Hannah's death incident and comes at Lily strong. Lily tries to warn her that by shooting her, she will get stuck in the simulation forever and lose her memories. Nora gladly wishes for her memories to be wiped and start a clean slate. Luckily, Lily shows good sparring skills and successfully pushes Nora off the dock. As Nora drowns to death, the game resets and Nora comes back to reality. Lily and her assistant also show up, showing concerns. Nora confronts Lily about what the simulation made her see and decides to show up at the real lake house to put all of them to death. Lily tries to stop her, but ends up saying hurtful things as Nora walks out. In the end, the same scenes from the simulations repeat as Nora shows up behind Kate while she takes the meat bags to the kitchen sink. I hope you liked this movie recap. Please comment down on what you liked about this movie and what scene you liked, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in our next video.